In our yesterday's class, we were trying to understand, architecture of Linux. Okay, different layers like hardware. On top of that, we have shell. On top of that, we have kernel, then shell, then user interface. Right, that part already we have seen. In today's class, we are going to talk about file system hierarchy. Okay, so I have a PPT for that. Let me just open it up. Yesterday we have seen this one. Now coming to file system hierarchy. File system hierarchy. Hierarchy means simple, guys. Hierarchy means structure. Okay, structure like grandfather, your grandfather, your father, and your father's brother. So your father and father's brother in one line. You, your brother, your cousins, they're at one level. Your children, they're at one level. Your grandfather at one level. You can see something like this. President, prime minister, like this structure. You can't say like, right, grandfather, then a father, then children. It doesn't make any sense. Correct or not? So the proper structure. Okay, that's what we call hierarchy. Okay. So what kind of hierarchy that is there in Linux? Let me explain. What I'll do, I'll compare this one with the Windows. Okay. Left side, I'll write Windows, right side, Linux. Okay. See, guys, in Windows, everything starts with C drive. Everything starts with C drive. Inside C drive, we have so many folders, correct? Like program files, Windows, users. Then we have system 32, like many folders are there. Program files, x86. Like, we have many folders are there. Let me just show you. If you go to C drive, you can see Windows, users, program files x86, right? Many folders are there. In every folder, we have subfolders are there. Like if you go to program files, we can see subfolders like, Google, Git, Docker, like, right? In every that folder, we have subfolder. Jenkins is there. If you go inside that, okay, let's go into any other Java. If you go inside, we have JDK. Like we have subdirectories are there. Okay, inside program files, we have subdirectories. In those, we have subdirectories. Correct? That is all. See, guys, first of all, in Windows, we call folder. In Linux, we call directory. That is one difference. In Windows, we call administrator, admin. In Linux, we call root user. In Windows, we call software. In Linux, we call package. Okay. In Windows, we call OS. In Linux, we call kernel. Windows is all about backward slash. Linux is all about forward slash. Forward means top tip should be forward side. Backward means top tip should be backward. Okay, these are some differences. It's not exactly, we should use same words, nothing like that. You can interchange. In Linux also, we can use the word folder. In Windows also, we can use the word directory. That's okay, no problem at all. But generally, these are the differences. Okay, that's it. So Linux is in Linux, everything starts with top level root directory. This we call top level root directory. In Windows, everything starts with C drive. In Linux, everything starts with top level root directory. Under that, this forward slash we call top level root directory. Under that, we have so many subdirectories. Many other directories are there. Okay, like root, home, boot, etc, usr, bin, sbin, like many other directories are there. Okay, so I have taken few few important directories. Apart from that, we have many other directories are there. Now, what is the purpose of all these directories? Simple, guys. In Windows, there is a purpose for each and every folder, correct? When you install any softwares, by default, those will be installed inside program files. When you create any user, so those users will be created under this folder. So there's a purpose for each and every folder in Windows. In the same manner, in Linux also, there's a purpose for each and every directory. The first one, what is this root directory? Simple. See guys, this one we call top level root directory. This is normal root directory. Understand the differences. This is top level root directory, top level. Okay, inside that we have this root directory. Okay, what is the purpose of root directory? Let me go to command prompts here. I'm opening my command prompt. Now, where are we now? I'm inside C drive users acer. Correct? C drive users acer. Now, if I want to go back, cd double dot, see here, I can go back to users. One more step, I want to go back, C drive. Again, I want to come back, come forward, again users. Further, I want to come forward, you can see. Further, do you have any other directories inside? Yes, sir. Yesterday, I think we created 21 something. Yeah, 21 October we created. See, I mean, don't focus on which command I'm running. See here, I'm going backward. Here I'm going backward. I'm coming forward. I can do anything, correct? But when I open this command prompt, see, by default, I'm inside C drive and users, correct? By default, I'm under C drive and users. See guys, every day your journey starts with your home, ends with your home. I'm repeating. Every day your journey starts with your home, ends with your home. In between, you can go anywhere, you roam anywhere, you go anywhere, that's up to you. But your journey starts and ends with your home, correct? Early morning, you start your journey from your home and you end with your home, correct or not? So here also, you can go anywhere. But when you log in, when you open command prompt, by default, you'll be under this location, correct? In Windows, the same thing in Linux. If you log into your EC2 instance as a root user, if you log into your EC2 instance as a root user, by default, you'll be under this location. So what is this root directory? This is home directory for root user. It's like a home directory for, it's like a home for root user. So when you log into your machine as a root user, by default, you'll be under this location. After that, you go anywhere, that's up to you. But by default, you'll be under this location. It's a home directory. It's a kind of home directory for root user. Then what about this directory? See, in your machine, apart from root user, there could be many other users, correct? There could be many other users. If you log into your EC2 instance as a normal user, not as a root user, any other user, if you log in as a normal user, then by default, you'll be under home directory. This is kind of home for other users. Other users. Simple, guys. If you log into your EC2 instance as a root user, then you'll be under root directory. If you log in as a other user, you'll be under home directory. Later on, they can go anywhere, that's up to them. But by default, they'll be under that location. Okay. Coming to boot directory. Coming to boot directory. See, guys, boot means, first you should know what is boot. Booting procedure. You might have heard, right? Bootable, booting procedure. What is booting procedure? Simple. See, booting procedure means the moment you power on your laptop till you see your Windows screen, if you are using Windows laptop, the moment you power on your laptop till you see Windows screen, whatever procedure happens in between, that procedure we call booting process. When you power on your laptop, immediately you can't see Windows screen, right? It takes a couple of minutes or seconds. That process we call booting process. So what actually happens in that? In that, all OS related files, OS related files which are there in your C drive, they will be loaded. They come from inactive stage to active stage. They start working. They do some self-test on top of themselves. They apply self-test that we call power on self-test. I'm repeating, guys. When you power on your laptop, what actually happens that moment, all OS related files which are there in your C drive, they will be loaded. They come from inactive stage to active stage. They start working and they do some self-test on top of themselves. Okay, that we call power on self-test. Once everything is fine, then you can see Windows screen. Okay, Windows screen. Sometimes this self-test fails. Then you can find one sound, beep sound. That means your voice got crashed. So here, the word which I use, that is OS related files. Correct? That's what I said, OS related files. All those OS related files will be there under boot directory. OS related files, which are there under boot directory. Okay, they will be loaded. So if you delete any file by going into boot directory, your OS will be corrupted. Got it? Equivalent to this directory, in Windows we have system32 folder, system32. So kind of, okay. Then coming to etc directory. etc means configuration files, guys. Configuration files. Can someone tell me what do you understand by configuration? Anyone? Have you heard this word, configuration? Anyone?
Like after installing the one software, you have to configure the as per your work.
My question is, what is the meaning of this word configuration? If I ask you, can you define configuration, what would you say?
So like that settings.
Settings of what?
That means I think I'm PHP developer, so PHP INI is config file.
Config file.
Laptop configuration, like 8 GB RAM, 1 terabyte.
Okay. Others, any idea?
It's like a specification.
Specifications. Okay. Okay, fine.
OS configuration files.
Okay, fine. Let me explain this. as some of you said rightly, these are specifications. Okay, system specifications. Those we call configuration details. See, your friend purchased one laptop. You go to him, and the first question you are going to ask him, hey, what is the configuration of your laptop? Then what he will say? He says that, hey, these are RAM, these are hard disk, this is a graphic card, this is processor. So these we call configuration details, specifications. Each and every minute details of your machine, those details we call configuration details. That could be what is RAM, hard disk, how many users are there, how many groups are there, how many packages are there, what are the services which are running, what is IP address, what is MAC, each and every detail, minute detail of your machine, those details we call configuration details. Configuration details. All those details would be kept in some files. Those files we call configuration files. So configuration files are having configuration details, means system specifications. Okay, so all those details would be stored in some files called configuration files. All those files which are there under etc directory. It contains config files. If you want to know anything about your system, go to etc directory and read these configuration files. You will get to know each and everything. Sometimes we might need to create these configuration files by keeping some information. That time we create. Sometimes by default, both default, those will be there by default. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Coming to USR. Guys, it's not user. You should never use the word user. It is USR. Okay. User is something different in Linux. Okay. USR. When you install any software in Windows, by default that will go to program files. In the same manner, when you install any package in Linux, okay, that will come to USR directory. It contains all software, or you can call packages. Okay, USR. So I told you, right, when you download and install something, a package, if it is having virus, you go to that file or folder and delete it. Correct? You go to USR and delete that particular package. That's it. Your machine is virus. Okay, very, very simple. Then coming to bin directory. Bin directory. It contains commands executed by user. Like, let me show you. Let me open command prompt. Here, see, I'm typing one command called dir. Okay, I'm typing one command called dir. Enter. When I press enter, you can see it is showing good output. Correct. But what I'll do now, I'm typing same command but adding one more R. Just one more double R, one more R, small R. Okay. Enter. It is saying that, hey, it is not recognized as an internal external command. Okay, let me do it. dir. Again, it is saying this is throwing same error. Let me type dir. Again, same error. But when I type dir, then only why it is giving output. When I type any other command, why it is not giving output. That means while designing this operating system, Microsoft company developers, they might have predefined this particular command in OS. Correct? They might have pre-configured this command inside OS that, hey, if someone type this command, please give this output. Correct? So they might have pre-defined some commands that if someone type these commands, you give this output. Apart from these commands, if someone types any other command, you throw this kind of error. That's what they might have pre-configured, correct? That means they pre-configured dir command, but they did not pre-configure dir. That means there are so many commands which are already pre-configured in OS. If you type that command only, you'll get some output, correct? Yes, all those commands are there in bin directory. That means you type any command which is already there in bin directory, then only you'll get output. Otherwise, you won't get output. It will throw error. Okay. So suppose tomorrow if I create my own operating system, what I do, I'll pre-configure one command called like, okay, so that if someone types I, then they will get output, some output. That's all. That is all. Then what is sbin? What is sbin? It is also having commands, guys, but root user, run by root user. That means, see, there are, see, sbin. Bin commands are there. Sbin commands are there. In bin, assume that some 100 commands are there. In sbin, we have 50 commands are there. Commands which are there in bin directory can be run by normal user, root user. Commands which are there under bin directory can be run by normal user and root user. But commands which are there under sbin can be run by only root user. Can be run by only root user. That means normal user can run only 100 commands. Sbin commands, can be run by. That's what root user can run this 100 plus 50. So there are so many commands should be executed by only root user, not other users. Those commands are there in sbin. Okay, that means bin directory commands can be run by only normal user, normal user and root user both. You can see. But sbin commands can be run by only root user, not normal user. Okay, that is. So all those predefined commands are there in bin and sbin directories. So these are directory structure. These are file system hierarchy. In these directories, we have sub directories, sub files and all, and we are going to create so many other directories. All those things we are going to see. Let me show you one more thing. Okay, program files, git, usr, etc, something. See here. So I'm inside C drive, program files, git, usr, something, right? Let me just copy this address. Copied. Let me open one notepad. Okay. I'll paste it here, right? See, if it is in Windows, this is how it is going to be. Assume that the same thing if you write in Linux, assume that this kind of directory structure is there in Linux, then it is going to be, let me show you. It is going to be something like this. See, assume that these directories are there both in Windows and Linux, assume. So if it is Windows, this is going to be something like this. Under C drive, we have program files. I told you that everything starts with C drive, C:, program files, git, user, and etc. But if it is in Linux, then under top level root directory, program files, git, usr, etc, like that. See here, these we call separations. Okay, we used to divide two directories, a directory or file. Okay, so Windows is all about backward slash, Linux is all about forward slash. Correct? That's why we give separations like this. But in Linux, the first one is not separation. This is top level root directory. Top level root directory. Okay. In Windows, see, this is this part. This everything starts with C drive. This is how you are going to mention. Okay. So in Windows, everything starts with C drive. In Linux, everything starts with top level root directory. Okay, the first one. Remaining things are separations. You can see these are separations. Okay. So in Windows, it's all about backward slash, Linux is all about forward. Generally, people, they get confused. They think these all are same. No. The first one is top level root directory, remaining all separations. Remember that. Okay, something like that. That means under top level root directory, assume that we have root directory. Under that we have one folder called A. In that we have one folder called B directory. So this way you are going to write /root /A/B. Under top level root directory, we have root directory. Inside we have A, inside we have B. These we call separations. Okay, that is how it is going to be. Okay, so you must know these things before we jump into practical sessions, lab. Okay, then only you'll understand this lab section clearly. Okay. What I do, see the same thing which I have mentioned over here. What I'll do today, I'll be sharing these slides till here. So this one, till I'm going to share this one. So what we'll do next class onwards, we are going to practice Linux commands. Whatever we covered so far, right? That's a theory. With that theory, we are going to jump into practical sessions, lab session. We will launch one Linux instance, and in that we are going to practice all Linux commands, each and every command. So while practicing commands, after practice some good number of commands, then I'll show this entire structure and all, how it works and all these things. Okay, that is how we are going to do. So since I'm not feeling well, that's why I'm taking half an hour only today also, because I'm getting throat pain and cough and all continuously. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, let me take complete rest so that from Monday onwards I'll be completely fine, so that we can spend good amount of time Monday onwards. And Monday onwards, we are going to jump into practical sessions, lab. Okay. While practicing all these commands, I will explain the purpose of each and every command, how to run this command, do's and don'ts, everything. I'll explain one by one clearly. Okay. So, so we don't have a class this weekend, tomorrow and after tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Next class will be on Monday. Okay. So Monday onwards, we are going to jump into practical sessions, lab. We are going to practice commands. Okay. I'll be sharing these slides today. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Any doubts from anyone?
No, sir, you were good.
No doubts.